Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a very non-bingo-y rack, but I think I will be able to play through it. It's fairly balanced in terms of vowels and consonants. And there are very few duplicates. I've got was on my rack, W-U-Z, which would get rid of the two least bingo-y tiles. F-U-W is a pretty awful triplicate. What else do I have? I have F-U-Z-E. In fact, F-U-W-Z is a pretty dreadful quadruple. So fuse and was are both good candidate plays. I'm just wondering if fusee is good. Not totally sure about that. But if opponent changes, I'm minded to play was because it gives little away. And either fuse or fusee would retain G with W, and they don't go well together. So there's a lot of dyssynergy going on with this rack. Opponent taking a while with their opening move. Are they about to start with a bingo? That happens about one game in 7, but sometimes it can happen with several games on the trot and you feel hard done by. But it does even out over time. So, are there any other candidate plays I need to consider? Well, I do have G's on my rack, G-double-E-Z, but the rack leave of F-U-W I think is the worst from the moves I've considered. Okay, great, only 14 points, and I do have a was spot for 23. Good grief, what a pick. V and W. And F goes particularly badly with V. So, I'm just wondering if I played was a little quickly in the sense that if fusee was good, it would have got doubled. Oh well. Great, opponent is not scoring heavily. And this is a good spot, 54 points, and I'm getting rid of F and W. Slowly the rack is inching towards being bingo-y. But I still got V, G and K on my rack. I guess Carver would sort the rack out quite nicely. That plays in column 4 with AW. Does it play anywhere else? ETA is good. But DAV isn't. Nothing goes either side of FY. Great, opponent still scoring fairly lowly amounts. I don't have anything which goes after G. So I'm going to play Carver for 27. Well, still non-bingo-y, and still nothing which goes after G. That would be I, O, or U. But can I get value from the J? Great, just 28 points. So I do have G and ego in the low 20s and keeping duplicate R. E doesn't go either side of K. Well, what about playing Gia down here? It's 41 points, which is pretty good. It sorts out the duplicate R. It doesn't give masses away. Wow, just the one vowel. Maybe the Scrabble gods don't want me to bingo in this game. Just noticing this floating A, but that doesn't give me a bingo. So all my tiles are bingo-y. It's just an unbalanced rack in terms of vowels and consonants. So I do have caged in row E. Row E quite hot because it's a double-double lane. What about getting value from the Z? So that remains available. 28 for opponent. So I do actually lead. No new vowels. But I can get value from the P and the Z. So I could play Perk, retaining G and N in case I draw one of the millions of eyes. 21 points. Yeah, I'm risking drawing 2 or 3 consonants, which would be bad. But I'm not going to be able to play off, well, is this the right thing to do? Burning my vowel with only 2 consonants. Where are the vowels on the board? Loads of, well, quite a few E's to come, but there's no guarantee one will draw one. And the score from Perk just wasn't that great. The opponent's taken out the double-double lane. Nothing on to FY. No, I'm not seeing anything better. Wow, I draw 2 vowels, which is what I needed to draw in order to be close to a bingo. Do I have one? I've got the ing ending. I have dotings, which I think is good, and that plays column 2. Wow. And maybe opponent will be attracted to Perk. Is there anywhere else for dotings? Don't think so. I have a slight scintilla of doubt about it. Now, what about stodging? Oh, wow. Stodging, I think, is good. That plays in row A. So if both of those are good, I have a guaranteed, oh, rats. Opponent goes in my preferred spot. So, nice bingo for opponent, and he plays off a blank. Dotings I was less sure of. Is this the only spot for it? Perk takes an H and an S. Where else is a lane? I think Gobo takes an S. What about ET? For a play to get tripled, it would need to start 1 square above. No, not seeing anything there. Yeah, not seeing anything. So dotings for 79. And I draw the X, which may be a good thing. Wow, look at that. There's the triple letter square under the A of brasting, but I don't have a vowel to get it to play twice. What a shame. R only takes an E, and S doesn't take A or U. That is wretched. DE takes an I and an O. So I've created access to 2 triple word squares. I've got XU in next to the I of dotings. Even though there's a Q to come, I would prefer to keep double A than AU. But I don't think there's a huge amount of difference between those 2 keeps. But what about getting rid of the V as well? I've got Vax in column 6. Is there a way of playing off, well, even more tiles? I don't have to play the X straight away if I could get a big score from the V. There's certainly a big X spot underneath the A, which might remain available. So opponent takes out 1 spot I was considering, which was XU. Oh, wow, I have sacks all, but that doesn't quite reach the triple word square. So this is what I was thinking about. Vax here for 31 points. And I think I am minded to play that, even though there is this hot hot X spot. This rack leave, well, the point is the X is non-bingo-y, so if I don't get that X spot, then it's hampering my bingo chances, and there are only 29 tiles in the bag. And this rack leave isn't terrible. It goes quite well with C, S, and G. Column 15 is a bingo lane for bingos beginning with W. Now, are there any big X spots I haven't considered? Yes. So this is Vax for 31. And this is Vax for 39. This is better. So I am going with this. Pretty good. This looks jolly close to a bingo. Do I have one? What about... Wow, it seems to go well with all these floaters. What about S? Sutorial, I think, is good. So that's a bingo in row O. What about C? Is there a bingo this rack plus a C? Feels jolly close. What about... Well, are there any other single tiles to consider? What about F? Great. Well, and you see, if I'd held on to the X, opponent has taken that spot. So let me see if Sutorial is good for 77. And it is fantastic. And I draw another S. Well, not that I had one before, but I do now. And this isn't a million miles away from a bingo. Great, just 14 points for opponent. I lead by over 100. 13 tiles left. Could there be a bingo here? I think it's unlikely. The lanes have shrunk. The C is the best floater, but I'm not seeing a bingo through that, or indeed a double-double. Just wondering about a 5-letter play in row O. I don't think I have one. So how can I get value from this rack? Not easy. Rec is good. AHI is good. Let me check the remaining vowels. 11 out of 20. It's vowel heavy. So why don't I do this for 16 points? Sorting out the vowels. Is there a better spot for this? What would a better spot look like? Should I be blocking bingo lanes? UI does not block a bingo lane. If I play it down here, well, I'm giving a very hot 4-letter lane. What about 1 square along? Less hot, but quite hot. Oh, with a Q to come, that could be monstrously big. What about playing down here? Pretty good. Well, I'm risking QI. I don't really like any of those candidate plays. 12 minutes on my clock. So, well, it's a shame there isn't a 5-letter play. I quite like the idea of turning over tiles. And all of my vowels go underneath the N apart from the I, but I'm just not seeing one. What about hanging on to the U? What about quaff? 18 points. Well, I'm coming back to this original thought. It is a vowel-heavy bag. What if I draw the Q? Well, it's not good, but there are 3 I's to come. Yeah. There's AD for caddy. Yeah, I don't think it's worth hanging on to the U for that eventuality because I've got a good enough lead. I'm going with Uoi for 16. Look at that. Beautiful rack. I dodged the Q. I draw the blank. And it's a balanced rack, and it was worthwhile dumping those vowels because I've still got a fractionally vowel-heavy rack, but it looks pretty good. So, do I have a bingo? I do have a 7. I have Aceros. I'm not sure there are any 7-letter lanes. 31 for opponent. Well, I guess there is, because Perk takes an H and an S, and I've got an S. Aceros doesn't fit. But what about row M? Well, Aceros. Wow, I think Aceros does work. All of those look good. For 70, is there something even better? Well, there would be with the C, because there could be a double-double. But is there? 10 minutes on my clock, so this rack plus a C. Wow, 3 Cs. Not seeing anything so far. Coachees, I think, is good. Interesting. Yeah, without the Q, the remaining tiles do have some bingo potential. I have some doubts about Coachee. It might be IE. So I'm looking for this rack. Coalesce. Well, that's definitely good. Yeah, I'm minded to go with that. Oh, I'm still looking for a double-double. Acetones through a T. Nine minutes on my clock. That's Aceros, the 7. Yeah, I'm not saying anything better. So I think Aceros was about 70. Let's see what this is. 72. I think this is a better score. I am going with this. Wow, and I draw all these vowels. Opponent's got the Q. The bag is empty. Fantastic. I don't think there's a massive Q spot. And opponent will probably have to burn his eye to get rid of it. So he's going to struggle to go out in 2, I think. But let me have a look at my own rack. Well, all 1-pointers. It's not great. I do have the Uoi spot. Another Uoi spot. Gosh, I played it earlier. Only an H goes under the C. So this may be my last turn. S goes on the end of coalesce. Do I have a 4-letter S play? I don't think I do. That's a shame. I have SUI, but that's just a 3. I have cores and perns. 23 points. Now, opponent's played 14 points. Interesting, he hasn't played chin, so I don't think he's going out with DENNR. I think if he'd had just 1 N, he may have an out. But he's going to need a vowel to go out with this rack, and I don't think any are available. So I may be able to go out in 2. Let me see what cores looks like. Wow, I'm not going to go out with double I-O. Seven minutes on my clock. I have AOE. Am I going to go out with AISU? Only 11 points. Don't think so. So I feel there should be an out in 2. Well, I was considering Uoi. Let's see what the rack looks like now. And I keep putting it one square to the right. It can go here for 13. Am I going to go out with AIS? Surely. So I have SAI and Coalesce. I have SAI and Caddy. So I am going out. In which case, I think Uoi is the play. It's not giving opponent an out. So, where is my best out? I have AIS and perks. 15 points. 15 where opponent's gone. So 6 minutes on my clock. I'm looking for the best spot for AIS. Let me have the game is 1. Let me have a slow squiz. What about Sail? 20 points. Huge. Can I do any better? AIS. Not looking likely. Yeah, I am going with this. And the final score, 314 for opponent, 484 for me, a winning margin of 170 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. That went really well. I just seemed to get further and further into the distance after a very slow start. So, opponent to go first, played Pled. And Fusee was good, and I probably should have played that. I didn't like GW, but 42 points is a lot. And instead I got 19 fewer. So yeah, Fusee would have been better. 40s for opponent, plays Tatty. But look at this, I have Flu for 54. Opponent plays Gimlet. And now D4, Carver, that was my play. And I lead by 60. What do? I played Jeer for 41. Well, I think Jeer for 41 is better than Jet for 40 because the rack leave is better. I don't have an E, but duplicate R isn't fantastic. Probably not very much between those plays. Opponent plays Foyd. And this was a tricky rack with only one vowel. So I played Perk for 21 and only 3 more on offer. A6, well, a play in A6 provides access to this triple word square, so I like my play. Now, opponent's rack webinars available, H15 down from this W. Instead, opponent plays in row A. And I have Dotings, which is the only bingo. So I still lead by about 60. Opponent plays Nar. And now I have Vax for 39. Opponent plays A. And Tutorial, the only bingo, so delighted to have spotted that. Now, horrible rack for opponent. Plays Pern. M9. CEE. Yeah, quite nice. What do? I play Uoi for 16, which I think is a better play. There are a lot of vowels to come. More than half the bag is vowels, so keeping IOSU, not great. Opponent plays My. And now, what do? I play Coalesce for 72, but M9... Oh, wow, because of CEL... Yeah, Coatees for 84, 12 more points. That would have been a better play. And note case playable from the N as well. Now, opponent's rack. Plays Caddy. Bag is empty. I thought about cause, but couldn't see a way of going out with double IO. So I play Uoi for 13. Opponent does not have an out, plays Dern, and finally Sail and Sile for 20 are best. So, what a game. Look at this, nearly 500 points. Absolutely cracking fun. Very slow start. I felt for a while I wasn't going to get a bingo at all, but all you can do is focus on the rack at hand and look at score and rack leave. And when you consider score with rack leave, what you tend to do is play moves which with rack leaves which have some potential for a bingo. And even if that doesn't materialize on any given rack, if you consistently play with score and rack leave in mind, you are more likely to have racks which mature into bingos, and that did finally happen in this game. And although I wouldn't say the floodgates opened or emptied, it was the case that I managed to get 1 or 2 bingos down before the end of the game. So absolutely super fun. Many thanks for opponent for a good game. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.